Let me bring in my girl. Where you at, Dave?
Hey! Oh, so while I was shouting everybody out from all the different cities and states, you're from Mexico. Whoa! Whoa!
Hola, ¿cómo estás? I just want to say I was so happy to hear, oh gosh, why did I just, Angie's poem, because I could understand some Spanish and I was like, hey, I don't know if anybody else knows, but I know what she said.
Let me tell you. Look, if there's any other Puerto Ricans in the room, we was all clapping and hooping and hollering. Okay, she nailed it. She nailed what we go through. She really did. Because when I moved here, it was like everyone was saying I was Mexican, and that's because in the South, people don't know the difference. It's kind of like, if you got slanted eyes, you're Chinese. You know what I'm saying? So, here in Memphis, I've always been a Mexican, always. And I had to kind of help people understand there was a difference between Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, but not everybody's gonna know that. Hey, Erica, I'm trying to say hi to people before I get all consumed in the poems
I know, right?
like that. But my girl Dejsha, all the way from Mexico, originally from Indianapolis,
Yes.
by way of Brooklyn, by way of Huatulco, Mexico.
Yes.
How long have you been in Mexico? Tell the people.
It will be 4 years in November.
I can't even believe that.
Me neither. Like when I say it, I'm like, wait, that long?
It's insane. It's been a long time. Yeah. But you know what? You fell in love and you had to go, and you've been serving there for the last 4 years. And I'm so proud of you and Damon. I'm so proud of you guys. And I miss you, but
It's true.
I mean, we got technology.
No, this has been bringing me out of everything because there's probably like out of the 30 people in my congregation, maybe only 4 people know that we do poetry. And they're like, I want to hear it. I'm like, I don't think you're really going to understand.
Have they joined here tonight or no?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. They can catch it on YouTube.
I'm like, I tried to make lines on them. I was like, I said this. And they were like, oh. I'm like, yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Roses are red, violets are blue.
Right. That's what they're thinking that I do. And I'm like, no, not exactly. Not exactly.
Let me just say hi to Linda, Casey. Okay. I'm trying to get the hello done. So you guys, let me just give you a quick background on Dejsha. I met her a decade ago. That's the end of the story. She was adopted. She was acquired. She was kidnapped into my life. I'm holding her for ransom still. You can't have her. If Donna's on here, you're not getting her back. What else? That's pretty much it. So Dejsha has been a part of the CitySeries family from the beginning. I called her an OG the other day, and I think she took offense to it. Yeah, your place in this whole process. I mean, it is what it is.
I think just time has gone by, so you just don't recognize like how long 10 years is just, but it's been good history. So I appreciate it.
Listen, I may be the face behind CitySeries, but Dejsha she's the security. She's like the director of operations, director of security, director of personnel, director.
I'm just a no nonsense type of person, but then you bring me back to reality. You're like, these are people. You must be nice. I'm like, oh yes, you're right. Come on in.
No, I'm the one that's supposed to be, But anyway, all right. Listen, we're not going to do that. We're gonna talk all night. We're going to talk all night. All right. So, you're going to do a piece for us. I saved you for the end, and it's I'd like for you to kind of explain the thought process behind this piece and give us a little input as to what it's about.
So I haven't written anything about others. I've always tried, but it just seemed like a jumbled mess. But during the pandemic, a lot of my friends, I've been reaching out to a lot more of my friends and just hearing their pain in different matters. And I didn't realize that some of them have been going through a lot of pain since, childhood. Like some of us were going to school together, and I'm like, I never knew you felt like that. Like, oh my gosh. So after a few people, I was like, I should write about this. And so I started. And after a course of 2 weeks, just listening to people, each line is really, a lot of the lines come from conversations with everyone. So I appreciate it because it really is more of those people. It represents them.
So you're used to writing from a place of how you feel with your own self, honesty, but this time you're being honest about what other people are going through.
Yeah.
It's a fellow feeling poem.
Mm-hmm. Quite different.
So go right into it. Give us a title if you like, otherwise we're ready.
Okay. So the poem is called Wild Talk. I'm headed to war. I know we're supposed to be neutral, but this is my future. My eyes, my mind is like a thief robbing the blind in my cerebrum. And speaking of them, you often call them that based off their appearance, but appearance is a weird instance of a cover, a blanket. And let's face it, I'm not Jesus and you're not one of the anointed, yet somehow 3 fingers are pointed at your rafter. Trying to dig deep is the hardest thing to do when you don't have a shovel. But we gonna dig to this. We won't sue for this side. I just want peace to my kind heart. It's sewage, like cider. It's her, no me, my mind, my suit of armor is weak. These cracks, these leaks, it's something that happened gradually. I felt so many emotions like a Sadducee, but please, don't feel sad for me. I'm at a war in my head. My thoughts, my needs, my wants, these taunt me daily. They lead me into a dark side of my thoughts. Don't kill yourself. Let's talk this out. You're not alone. No, I don't want help. Something's wrong. But they can't see. So I grab his hand. Jehovah, please help me. They won't listen. She doesn't love me. I am lonely. Mine doesn't fit. This isn't it. I'm infected. Got a disease. Listen to me. Just listen to me. Now that I've got your attention, I'm hurting inside. I've been suffering since I was a kid. Bag over my face to expel carbon. Knives are hidden. It was hard back then holding on to a syringe, but then again, you wouldn't know because you didn't listen. I really often felt like Billie Jean, just a girl that was pitied. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. But I'm tired of talking. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I need help. This is bigger than myself. This poem was not written to sound desperate. It was for awareness. I did it for the person fighting their thoughts like self-defense. See, depression has been called the common cold of the mind, usually not possible to climb out of a deep pit of depression by yourself. And some say they didn't see signs. But sometimes signs aren't seen like stop, slow, railroad. A synonym for a sign is testimony. We're talking written or spoken statements. So wait a minute. That requires 2 ears and some eyes for us to realize that that could be right there in front of you, speaking the loudest in the room. Depression doesn't always have to wear black. It comes in many shapes and sizes, but the most important thing to try is listen, pray. Don't just say, I'ma pray for you. Send. Pray for them over and over again. Call them and pray, even if you must hear the sounds of their pain. JOB 1413. Please help me, because I can't fight. And this ain't right. I love my life. Make it stop. It's not what I want. Help me be calm. Jehovah, help me go on.
Oh my God. Is that what you didn't want me to hear this?
Every time I practiced, I wasn't crying, and somehow it comes.
Wow. Okay. So I have to be a host. I can't be your sister right now. I'm emotional. You're emotional.
It's real.
I know how much it took for you to write that, which is also part of the reason why I'm emotional.
I'm sorry.
Just always want to host this.
I promise when I was practicing, I was like, okay, I got it. But man, I think it was that last line.
So,
I changed the last line so many times.
You were talking from the perspective of the person that's going through it.
Yes.
But at the same time, when you were talking about what a person should do in terms of don't just pray and say I'm gonna pray for you and hit send, but just keep praying over and over again, call them and pray with them, things like that. I don't know if you switch back to yourself talking to other people, or you're still talking as the person telling their friends what they should do.
So it's two people. So Wild Talk is the person, because if you do have someone in your life, sometimes it may seem like wild talk, like they don't know what they're talking about. And really, the piece was, that's why I said this poem was not written to sound desperate. It was for awareness. And I did it for the person fighting their thoughts like self-defense. You know, they have all these thoughts, and sometimes we may never understand what's in there, but they just want us to listen. And even we don't have as much power as prayer, but as Jehovah, but prayer is so strong for us. I remember even I was going through something one time, and a sister was talking to me. She said, I'm gonna pray. And like that, like I was like, that never did that with any of my friends, but I was like, I'm gonna stop. Ever since she did that, I said, I'm gonna stop telling somebody I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to call them and I'm going to pray on the phone with you, so you can hear my prayer too.
Does everyone in here remember the scene from our convention with Nita and Jay praying in two separate locations at the same time? That was a very powerful moment, because it's even the way how you deliver it is the way the branch directs it. Like, they actually put the emphasis of lighting the crescendo of the music to that moment when they were praying. Like, let me explain to you how powerful this is. Look at it. Don't just listen to people saying it, but look at it. And that moment in that video was so powerful. We couldn't do nothing but cry. I was just tears looking at that. So when you said that, that really just stood out to me. I love that you call it wild talk, because we talked about this and the fact that when people are contemplating suicide, they make no sense. And sometimes the people that are in this room listening to this understand that sometimes if you're listening to someone and they sound a little crazy, they might be crying out for help. And we can't always take everything that they say literally. Sometimes you have to look past what they're saying and you have to find a way in. So I love that you did it for awareness, but it's just it was very powerful. It was very raw.
Thank you.
I know how hard that was, and I know that you're gonna sleep real good tonight.
You know, I haven't been sleeping. I've been going to bed with the lines in my head. I'm like,
listen, you threw everything into it. I was privy to, the early stages of it, me and Darren, and out bravo. That was amazing.
I think at first when I wrote it, it was to me, it was wild because I was just kind of writing it and not really taking the time to stretch it apart and see who each person is. I think my favorite line was because I was in service last week, and sometimes it's been said in service, just about it. And someone said, well, you didn't really see signs. And I wrote that down. And I was like, that's one of the things people say, they don't see signs. But
didn't take the time to listen and you didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. So just got to be there. There's been a lot of talk about it. So not necessarily by everyone, but the person may not feel comfortable telling everybody, but when they do, just listen,
That was amazing. That was amazing. So shake it off. You got through it. You're still together. We're so used to everyone that has been to our shows that is here and that has seen you in your spoken word. They're used to the sunshine and the smile and everything that you bring from your personality, from who you are. And this was a dark place. So this was something completely different. You went out on a limb and you nailed it.
Thank you.
All right. So go take a drink or use the bathroom or whatever you have to do, and we're gonna come back to you. Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye, everyone.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too.
Go ahead and tell us about it and give us a little glimpse of what we're gonna hear.
Well, shoot. I mean, mine is a little emotional. Not. I thought I was gonna be a little vulnerable because the last time the ladies' night was done, like everybody's second piece was more about personal things and things that they were going through and things that they deal with. So yeah. I was like, well, I'll follow suit. So it's just some things about my life.
Okay.
I called it the numbers poem. So that's what it's called.
The numbers poem. Okay.
Numbers poem.
Okay. We're ready.
The first time I ever heard someone spit a really dope poem, they used numbers. I knew it was dope because that was the first time I heard dope used as a compliment and spit used as something other than saliva to be projected in the enemy's direction. So I decided in my mind it was time to be dope. So I picked up my pen and carefully wrote the numbers 1 through 10. I don't think what came after that was what I had planned. I saw 1. It reminded me of how many times I actually said I love you and really knew I meant it. I would say that the other 9 times I said it, the doubts were just practice for the real thing, if the first time wasn't the only time I was sure when I said it. 2. How many times he put a ring on it. Also, how many times I had to take it off. 3. How many times I erased 2 for fear of being judged. 4. How many times I rewrote 2 because I should never fear the truth, even when it is ugly. 5. How many times I've had to empathize with someone mourning someone who's died, and it's a feeling I don't know much about. I'm still trying to figure out how you mourn the loss of someone from your life when they're still living, so if you have any ideas. 6. I skipped this number due to the form of OCD I have, thinking that it's a bad number. 7. How many days it took to get over my fear of applying to my apartment because my address has a 6 in it. 8. Probably how many times I have clenched and unclenched my hands by now because talking about these things triggers my anxiety and it seems to be the only thing that keeps my vision from going blurry. 9. How many times a man probably thought I was gearing to punch him in the throat because I can get anxious when I really like someone. 10. That feeling has gotten confused with love so often it probably explains the thought that I got when I looked at the number 1. That's that piece.
What? You look here. Go gonna get punched in the throat. Number 9. You heard that part.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm talking to people. It might look like I'm trying to. Yeah, like no, I'm just
That was
anxious.
incredible. That was incredible. You cracked. That was amazing. That is what you call fire right there.
Thank you.
Is that recent?
Yeah, I just wrote it today.
What?
Yeah. I just
Get off my phone. Get off my phone, Dallas.
So,
What you got, girl?
I have funny that Dede did what she did because I have battled with depression and I've always been like really open about it because I feel like there are a lot of people who can't talk about it. But as I've gotten older and been a support system for different people, I've found that I'm less verbal about it. So that's kind of what this is about. And it's not just to one person, it's to my husband, to my son, to my mama, to my workmates, to just everybody is kind of like the audience to this. It's really a issue for me that kind of, this is how I express it.
Okay.
So,
I'm here for it.
all right, this piece is called Lies.
Okay.
I had to speak the truth before I could lie to you. I had to tell the mirror that I have been broken and admit that I have been molded by this system of things. Though I am imperfect, I'm not talking about sinning. I'm talking about being cut up and bruised, being ill abused. I'm talking about being pushed and pulled and stretched and stepped upon, balled up and thrown away. I had to confess I'm not okay before I could smile for you. I had to admit what was true, that I've been running from my reflection and my shadow, catatonic, and so I'm unsure of which direction to go. I've been running in circles. I've been running into walls. I've been licking my wounds when I fall, and I've been crying into my pillow when nobody's watching. But now that I've spilled my honesty, I can sing for you. I can spread the corners of my lips to the corners of my eyes, and I can dance with a free spirit until we fall into the stars and the night darkens the sky. I can encourage you. I can share the strength that I hold in reserve and surplus to give it away because I don't know what to do with it otherwise. Sorry, I've got new dogs. You would think that I'd build my spirits up as if the power isn't mine, though. I give it away. That's not love. That's self-destruction at its finest. That's put your neighbor's mask on first, even if you're dying. That's calling, falling with style, flying. That's ridiculous. I know it's true, but I had to tell the truth before I could lie to you. While I painted on the colors you like, I had to admit that my eyes betray my worry. That though in triumph there is glory, I am so tired of the race. And while I meticulously put on the finishing details to this face, I admitted that the walls fall down around me every day and that the pieces are too jagged to put back into place. But when I put on my makeup, I make up my mind that I'm going to tell a million more lies, if only it means that you'll see me in a better light. Even if I'm only telling myself that I'm putting my needs on the shelf to fund your endeavors, I will tell myself the truth so I can lie to you forever. So you never have to know what tears taste like. So you never have to know what my fears look like. I will tell myself the truth so that to you, I can lie. Thank you.
You already know how I feel about this speech.
Yeah, I know.
But to see you do it is a whole other thing. Like to hear it was one thing. I was like, oh yeah. This is me. This is my story. This is me. This is me. I lie all the time. I'm always lying.
Always, man.
So
Always.
to see you, that is a piece that is totally spoken word, because your facial expressions, I mean, in the parts where it needs to be desperate are there. In the parts where it needs to lie and smile, they're there. Like that is so honest. And I mean, that's just that it was just realer than anything. I love it. I love it. Yes. And I believe the second piece is also about plants. Am I right?
You are right. It's about
Okay.
dandelions. So,
Dandelions. Okay.
yes.
So you went in one direction with the plant there. We were talking about the harvest type of planting.
That's right.
Now we're going in a different direction. So tell us
Yeah.
what this piece is about. Would you rather just go in?
I mean, I definitely want everybody to think about what they think about when they think of a dandelion. Like, I definitely want that picture in everyone's mind as
Okay.
I'm doing this. So, yeah, but you'll definitely figure it out as soon as I get into it.
All right.
It's a transparent poem.
We're ready.
I used to think they were baby sunflowers that hadn't reached maturity, perhaps even black-eyed Susans that had been dealt with more gently. But grandmother used to tell me not to pick them because I might spread the seeds, and it was then I learned they weren't flowers, weren't special, just weeds. Truth is, there are plenty of me. From broken homes with shaky foundations and no curb appeal, no loan originations, because no one pays full price for damaged goods. And the sun's rays rarely shine in the hood. You see, the sun only shines on ones like me because God makes it, and not because it chooses to. And the rain comes in so heavy at times, I'd swear it makes excuses to. But you tricked me. You tricked me. You picked me with my loose, kinky, dandelion curls, body one breeze from blowing away, roots grounded as shallow as topsoil, and yet you asked me to stay. With your warmth, you tricked me into opening up and blossoming. You were cultivating weeds, all the while others were trying to uproot me. And yet I knew if I just shot up enough, I'd stand out enough for saving. If I didn't get caught in the roundup, maybe I'd get it for what I was praying. So I learned to withstand the storms. I learned to tweak the norms. I learned how to change my form. And when the wind blowed in, I became flexible more. I realized that in a child's eyes, my petals are for wishes. So it's okay if I get carried away at times. I'm not that complicated, not that undesirable. A love for all seasons is what I was seeking. You see, King, it just took someone with a simple eye to understand my kind of beauty. A focused eye that's seeking the kingdom first, even before me, chasing the kingdom, pursuing the kingdom and his righteousness. Someone humble enough to put up with my weed-like seed type of imperfection. A blessing. Who doesn't feel my flaws undermine the foundation he's built for himself, or that his kindness makes him weak. Someone meek. Thank you for choosing me with my loose, kinky, dandelion curls. Body one breeze from blowing away. Roots as shallow as topsoil. And yet you made a way. Instead of a nuisance, in a new sense, I just wanted someone to view me as a beautiful bouquet. The perfection of expression of pain and passion, struggle and strength, courage and loyalty, lowly, yet royalty. Love and joy, flaws and all wrapped up in a pretty package, freshly picked, perfectly chosen, tastefully selected, and viewed as a gift. I just wanted someone to see me as gold or white, despite my really being black and blue. Someone who looks at me the way I look at good food. Someone to ride for me how Kanye rides for himself, with love and trust and care and compassion. Someone to show me that love is a covenant in action. You helped me see the beauty I could be. You helped me find and establish my place. You make me beam with such pride that though I'm not a sunflower, when I smile, rays emit from my face. I'm the prettiest weed you ever did see. A dandelion. Thank you for choosing me.
I wish we could have audio on this live. The amount of comments and the reactions to this is like mind blowing. First of all, I say first of all a lot because it's so much to unpack. I say it a lot. I love that poem. I love the comparison of, you know, what people, and it's almost like it wants to be a flower, but it's not. And sometimes like little kids will see it. And I love how you said that the little things kind of blow in the wind. I love that you said I may not be a sunflower, but the rays come from my smile or my skin. I love all of the beautiful things you said about something that people don't give enough credit or attention to.
It's so interesting. Like, I hate to nerd out about this, but like, dandelions actually have like very good medicinal purposes. Like, I drink dandelion tea.
Yeah.
But like, I would agree with that. Like, it's so interesting, and I feel like that's how Jehovah does with us, though.
Yeah.
Like, we're all weeds, and like Jehovah still just picks us up and collects us, and he's like, "Oh, this one is so pretty," you know.
Like, there's so much love in this room right now for you guys. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I have to say, for me, doing this before and being at the New Eurekan before as a slam poet and competing with people who are not Jehovah's servants and being in this moment, in this element with my sisters and all this love is just, there's nothing like this. There's nothing like this. And I've seen it for Hostage all this time, and I'm like, dang, I waited too long.
We're not going to go there because I'm going to just go off and I'm going to tell you, listen, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're here. And,
I appreciate this so much.
He's your biggest fan, by the way. He's in here talking about Lego, babe. I have the comments up on my screen so I can actually see what people are saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So this
tell us about your next piece.
This has to do with the type of poet that I was, a slam poet, and I wrote a lot of stuff, revolutionary, they would say, work. Like they used to call me a little battle rapper / Black Panther. So I've had to, yeah. And if you see my nameplate, I used to go by Angel, and Kanaya bought me this, and this was always with me on the stage. So I thought I'd bring it out. But
love it.
It's about where I was, and God's kingdom's going to fix everything, so I can't worry about it.
Yeah.
I can do nothing to fix it. So I stop watching the news and I focus on the kingdom, and that's where it goes.
Well, help us, because some of us need to, focus on the kingdom right now, because the news is driving us crazy. So yes, give us the
I'll do my best. I got to remind myself all the time.
Give us the formula.
It's another one about my identity, but
that's okay. Let's do it.
Okay. As a poet, I've struggled to find my identity. That's why I no longer write revolutionary poetry. My fists no longer clenched and raised in the air. Now my hands come together as I bend my knees in prayer. Dear Jehovah, please bring my husband back home safely. I know that everything that's happening is a part of prophecy since man dominates man to his injury. I look to you, Jehovah, to mete out justice perfectly. How many shots does it take to kill an unarmed man, a young man with an Arizona and a bag of Skittles, an 11-year-old boy with a toy gun? How much pressure does it take to crush a windpipe? But this is not a revolutionary poem. In my former days, I was passionate about injustice, unapologetically unapologetic, ready for uprising. Now I look to God's kingdom to right this wrong. This is what happens when you're awakened by thunder, the smell of earth and rain, sleep interrupted. I'm a codex of complexities, flawed and at times faithless, reflecting the spirit of the ancient Israelites. But I know there's nothing without this hope. Hopeless, the masses seek the state of inebriation, dulling a pain of a loveless world, one that would have you believe that extra melanin equals inferiority. Fear turns to weaponry. Men born of Adam divided by satanic sectarianism. The police have shown themselves to be Nimrod's children. They spill blood in street corners, laying bodies like bricks, one on top of the other, hoping one day to reach the heavens. But I no longer write revolutionary poetry. So now, my inspiration comes from being held hostage by love. When we met, neither of us were ready for what lay ahead. As cliché as it sounds, when you least expect it, that's where love is found. Where two become one plus Jehovah, we're three, braided tightly, just as our Creator made us to be. Chocolate and caramel kiss is a perfect confection, but we're much more than that. This love delves deep beyond the surface. After years of cultivation, bonded over time, tested by fire, we know the quality of this love, so we don't sweat the small stuff, getting entangled in attitudes, cutting words, rolling necks, and silent treatments. Our love has become something others desire, so easy and free like the summer breeze, yet passionate as July's sweet heat. Those Okies sing our sweet love song. We are lightning. Thank you.
Oh my God. Like, I'm just really just like, how am I even supposed to say anything? That's amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness gracious. Angie. I'm going to have to start calling hostage Angie's husband.
Okay.
We might introduce him that way on September 6th. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? He's not even the type that would mind. Like we've done this together. Like we met on a cruise with witnesses, and by the end of the week we were sharing poetry. This was in '99, you know, and we've been doing it together for a long time. And after getting married, you know, I kind of lost my voice and my voice changed. So
that's what I've said before. I've said life happens, and sometimes we just fade into the background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have this amazing talent. Like you said, your poems have always come, when you were doing them before, they were coming from a place of injustice and passion about that and anger. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, even as Christians, we don't appreciate injustice. Like, you know, we're still angry about it. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we have to write about it. But at the same time, you know, we have the truth, and it changes the narrative. And that's what you did. You showed that it still affects you, and you're not going to write revolutionary poetry, but you're going to find a way to fight it, even without you being in the fight. You're going to find a way to fight it. And being one of Jehovah's servants helps us to fight it. And also having love helps you to fight it. So it's like everything's full circle, Angie. This is like your full circle poem. I'm serious.
It's fine.
Hercules. You, well, what's the color purple thing? right.
All right, serious
Talk
time.
about this next piece.
Okay, so I think it would be a lot better with the vibe of everything to do You Need Me, because some people, I was always writing things because poetry is like therapy to me. And I said it before to some friends that not everyone is your therapist. So when I write so that only a few people may understand. And even if you think you understand, you probably have it wrong. So I don't want everybody to know what I'm feeling, but I just want you to, whatever you take from it, that's your interpretation. But this one, I think, because it's relatable, other people probably do it too. So you Need Me is about the Bible. All right. The genesis of this problem started when you tried to outrun your problems like Sonic gets golden rings, finals, champagne, splashed over every word you fed yourself because you thought you could win without God's help. But see, I was your favorite book, the one that you used to thumb through, run through, and I helped you get out of your slump too. Dear boy, I loved you. And day by day, you never knew invisible realities existed. But everyone knows I have the contents of the one who always existed. But you don't want to have that conversation. Just conversations in your hotel room where one of me checked into every drawer before you even had ideas of doing things that would disqualify you. And you say you love me? See, Kanye loves Kanye, and even he named his son Psalm. But ever since you left, calm doesn't come easy these days. What did I do to get dismissed these days? You used to rely on me in every single way. Now you can't even direct your own steps, so you look for my footprints. Printed my thoughts heaps of times you didn't want to witness, but when will you come down from this cloud and witness what's in front of you? Stop fronting from what you're supposed to do. I've changed my appearance, but that shouldn't have stopped you. I went from green to black and black to red and red to gray, that each day you had a daily reminder. But instead, you text. You swipe through applications to fill voids only I can feel. How do you think that makes me feel? I went from big to small and small to big, that you could have fit me in your pocket. Still not an excuse to stop this relationship. And when you had lemons, I could have aided you in the lemonade, and you turned lemonade to Becky with the good hair. And that same Babylon the Great is that Becky that wears purple and parties with drunk emperors and is tipsy with the sacred blood that was aged long like it was from Abel's day. But you don't see me. You don't feel me. I wanted to touch you, but you couldn't even taste what was good. You direct your steps as bad as a blind man directing traffic. The chariot is never revving late, just revelation in the tank. And maybe you tried to tank my flow of living water, but check my diary. Many have tried me, but you knew that. I never left you clueless. I've only fed you ruthlessly with love. Continued to change for you. Went from Bomber Brown to in your phone for you. I love you. Tak note, je t'aime, te quiero, nakupenda. I spoke so many languages except nonsense to you. Yes, I did that for you. And you're going to go out there and expect them to show you love? But guess what? They'll never love you like I love you. Slow down, they'll never love you like I love you. See, I'm not a coat that you can hang up in the closet until you're ready to wear it. Quote me with some recognition. Take my food that should have reached your heart and not tear it. Grab me off the table. Don't leave me like I'm a pair of keys. Use the spirit to recall what you really need spiritually. Study me long enough to heed my words. Tell me you are dedicated to me, or are you a part of another plan? How come you don't want me, man?
Now, see, you ended that different than the
I know.
last.
I wasn't trying to go back, okay? I wasn't trying to go back.
You know what? It's funny because the way you ended it this time is kind of like, I'm tired of telling you this. Like, how come you don't want me? I'm sick of this. that piece. There were people in here that have heard it and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is my part. This is that part." Yeah, this is. It's so good. It's so good. You're getting a lot of love on that piece right now.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
I wrote that piece just out in service. Like it came to mind because, I really wasn't using my Bible in the ministry. I was always using my phone, and I was like, asking myself, how is your Bible reading going? Can you recall? Because I used to remember the scriptures like, back in the day before there was a phone in the Bible and the phone, like you knew the scripture was on the left side of the page towards the bottom. You didn't know what chapter, but you could remember because it was there. And I was like, sometimes I felt detached by not having it. So
Yeah.
it was like we need it,
Yeah.
So it was really
and it's awesome because it's like in a way you're speaking as if Jehovah's speaking with us. Jehovah's speaking with us. Just pick it up.
Yeah.
Give it some attention. I love when you talk about it being in the drawer of every hotel room. I love that. I mean, there's so much of it I love.
So much.
And what was crazy was that I didn't know that the piece was about the Bible when you did it at CitySeries.